Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum class. I hope all of you are doing well. Today I am here with you people with our 7th lesson, and today's topic is from grammar portion. The objective of teaching you today's lesson is, by the end of this lesson, students will give and receive instructions using modal verbs. Students will differentiate between the modals used for possibility, obligation, and necessity by identifying these types of modals and the language around them. And lastly, students will demonstrate an ability to reason deductively using modal forms. Dear students, regarding modal verbs, there are certain questions that are to be answered. So in this lesson, we are going to answer those questions. For example, why modal verbs are used, when modal verbs are used, and how we can use modal verbs in our language. But before going into the individual details of modal verbs, let me describe you the main characteristics of modal verbs. A modal verb is a special type of auxiliary verb. They alter or complete the meaning of the main verb. They express ideas such as capacity, possibility, obligation, permission, prohibition, probability, supposition, request, and desire. They can also indicate the level of formality in the conversation. They do not take S for the third person singulars. Well, you can see the definition of modal verbs in front of you on your screens. Modal verb is also known as a helping verb. It gives additional information about the main verb that follows it. For example, they go out. This is a casual sentence. Let me add few modal verbs in it. They must go out. This shows the obligation. They should go out. This shows the advice. They can go out. This shows the permission. They may go out. This shows the possibility. And in the end, they will go out. This shows the surety for the future tense or prediction. Secondly, modal verbs do not need auxiliaries to form negative and questions. What are auxiliaries? Helping verbs in other form. Like if we need to convert any sentence into negative or interrogative, we used to add few helping verbs after the subject like do, does, did, has, have. But here, modal verbs do not need this. For example, she should stay. We can simply add not after the modal verb, that is, she shouldn't stay. And for interrogative, we can make it as why should she stay? Thirdly, modal verbs do not have infinitives or ing forms. Keep remember that cannot be must or musting or shoulding, etc. This makes funny. Well, if we talk about to make the sentences by using modal verbs, what we need to do, you can just look into this box. First of all, we will start our sentence with the subject. Then after the subject, we need to add modal verb and then main verb and then the object or the complement of the subject. For example, I must go to sleep. We can drink some water. He may eat some food and she will do some exercise. Use the basic form or infinitive of the main verbs after the modal verb. Base form is do, does, etc. Alright, here comes few more descriptions about modal verbs. When we are going to make sentences of simple form, when we are going to make sentences from continuous form, from perfect form, or from perfect continuous form, we need to follow some rules that are here on the screen. For example, I'll choose a sentence from simple form. I could work. he could work. If I'm going to convert this into continuous form, I'll do it right. I could be working or he could be working. If it comes to the perfect tense, it would be I could have worked, as I have already told you that whenever you say the perfect tense, just go blindly with has or have. Has with singulars and have with plural subjects. And if it comes to the perfect continuous tense, it would be I could have been working, because it's combination of two different situations, and he could have been working. Of perfect with have and continuous with V1 ing with the verb. I have talked enough about modal verbs, but let me tell you what type of words are modal verbs. This can be can, could, may, might, must, shall, will, should, ought to, and would, and even have to or need to. Alright, let's begin with our first modal verb, that is can. One of the most commonly used modals in English is can. It expresses ideas such as capacity, permission, or request. These are different categories in which we can use the modal verb can. Let me give you examples of it. She can speak French. This sentence is showing the capacity of someone, what he can do or what he can't do. Second sentence is he can come in now. This is what someone is giving permission to someone. And lastly, can you lend me your pen please? This is the way we can request somebody to ask for something. Here comes the second one, that is could, the past form of can. It expresses possibilities, past abilities, as well as suggestions and requests. To show the possibility, the first sentence is here, that is, extreme rain could cause the river to flood the city. This is showing the possibility that it may happen. John could run very fast when he was younger. This is showing the ability, but here the could is showing the past ability of John. To show the suggestions, the sentence will be we could go to an ice cream parlor or stay home and watch a movie. In this sentence, two situations are there, and this is a suggestion from somebody that we can go for the first option or the second one. And to request someone, could I use your cell phone for a moment? This is the way we can request someone when we need to ask for something. Here is may. It is most commonly used to express possibility. It can also be used to give or ask for permission. A very common example is when you people have to enter into the classroom and your teacher is already in the classroom, and what you used to say, may I come in? So this is the way you can ask for permission. As we have talked about possibility and could, here is also may that comes in possibility. This may happen or may not. The first example is Maria may be at school or at home. This is showing the possibility. 50% is ideas about Maria will be in school and 50% about she will be at home. Secondly, asking for permission. May he leave the room with me? May is actually used for more polite way. Then thirdly, yes, he may leave the room with you. This is about the permission. And the same example can be quoted here that I have already discussed. A student asked, may I come in? And the teacher responded as, yes, you can come in or you may come in. Might is a modal verb that is commonly used to indicate possibility at low level, lower than may. If may is at 50-50%, then might would be below 50. However, it can also be used to make suggestions or requests. This is a rare use though. We use it in very rare forms. When we have to show the possibility, but that is less than 50%, we will use might. Your backpack might be under the desk. This is possibility, but she is not as much sure. We can also give few suggestions to someone. And might I open the door is simply a request, but in a polite or humble way. It's more formal. Will is a modal verb that is more commonly used to talk about future situations. It can also be used to talk about the present when we want to make a request. It is also used in situation in which we make instant decisions. I'll call you later. This is a future action that somebody is going to call someone in future. Will you close the window, please? This is a request to someone. I loved that t-shirt. I will take it. This is an instant decision. The past form of will is would. It is more commonly used to create conditional verb tenses. In addition, it can be used to make offers, requests, and talk about past habits. So let's discuss in detail. If I were you, I would not do that again. This is a condition. Here in first statement, the first part of this statement, if is showing the condition and it follows would. And second sentence, would you like some cake? Here is the way we can offer somebody for something. And when we have to request for something, we say, would you turn down the volume please? Our teacher used to say, would you please be quiet in the classroom? Next one is, we would swim in the dam for hours when we were kids. This is showing the past habit of those kids who are young now. Students, as I have told you that would is a conditional modal verb. So other modal verbs can be used to make conditional sentences like could, might, will, and should. If I knew her name, I might tell. This is how I have used might within the conditional sentence. I could have told you the truth if you had listened to me. If I should see him, I will give him the message. So in these three sentences, three different modal verbs are used differently. But see, every sentence has if. So if is showing that this is a conditional sentence in which this modal verb is used. Verb would. There is shall. It indicates a future action as it does with will. It is more commonly used with the first person singulars and plurals that are I and we. Dear students, keep this differentiation in your mind that we use shall with I and we. And the purpose of using shall is often found in suggestions and promises or predestinations. Few examples are here to make it more clear. Shall we set the table? This is a suggestion. I shall never leave your side. This is a promise. She shall become our next queen. This is predestination. Here is a future prediction. This is also a repeated used modal verb you have ever observed in your life. Should. This model is more commonly used to give recommendation. As I have talked to you people that you have observed, definitely you have observed in your teacher's remarks. So it can also be used to talk about obligations as well as expectations. Our recommendation is here that when you have many classes, you should take a bottle of water with you. Or you should focus more on your assignments. This is an advice. If we talk about the obligations, the things that we need to do and that are compulsory, I should be at work before 7 p.m. And if we talk about the expectations, the sentence will be at this moment, they should already be in New York. Here is another modal verb that is must. If I say that this is the most commonly used in official documents, this won't be wrong. So it can be used to talk about certainty, that is, something you are almost sure is true. If there is a fact or there is something that you know already about it and you are more than 60 to 70% sure that this is to happen or this would be the right thing, then you can say must. Moreover, it can be used to talk about obligation, prohibition, necessity, and strong recommendations. When you are very sure about something, so use must. She must be sick. She never gets late at school. This is showing the probability. Secondly, students must pass an entrance examination to study at the school. This is showing the necessity of the school requirements. Strong recommendations can be shown by using the modal verb must. You must drink a lot of water to protect your voice. And when we need to show any obligation, must can be used in a way, Sarah, you must always do your homework. After must, here is ought to. It is used to advise or make recommendations. It can also express assumptions, expectations, or strong probability when the context implies that something is deserved. To recommend something, we can use this modal verb ought to in a way. She ought to stop eating red meat. Sam ought to get a promotion. This is expectation because he deserves it, as I have already told you. Ought to can be used for assumptions. Those apartments ought to increase in value due to the construction of the new mall. And the last modal verb of today's topic is need to. As a modal verb, need is most typically used in negative sentences or in affirmative sentences with a negative meaning. It expresses absence of obligation or necessity, and it is followed by a bare infinitive. Let's have a look on the examples. As in the previous slide, it is already mentioned that this need to is mostly used to show the negativity. So here are the sentences. You need not to worry about that. No one need to be surprised at what happened. You need to only just ask. And I doubt whether I need to help you or not. Dear students, you will find a link of worksheet. Do solve that worksheet according to this lesson. Till our next lesson, I'm going to end up this now. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.